मदद करें और इस बच्चे की लाइफ को बचाएं। उनकी बेटी है, इसके लिए मैं आपसे हाथ जोड़ के रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ कि आप सब हमारी हेल्प करें, क्योंकि मेरी बेटी के बारे में पता लगा कि उसे सेल एक्यूट है ब्लड कैंसर, और डॉक्टर ने कहा है कि इसका ट्रांसप्लांट होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। मैं आप लोगों से चाहती हूँ कि आप हमें डोनेशन दें ताकि मेरी बच्चे की जान बच सके।
Yes, hello. Good evening to you all, my dear friends. Today we will be taking a session about geography and environmental related current affairs. The main target will be prelims 2021 this year. Since I cannot, as you know, I am not able to see myself in the screen, I'll be very happy if any one of you who has already joined can kindly put a text in the comments in the chat box below, so that my audio and video is working fine. I'll be very happy. Let us wait for 1-2 minutes for some more learners to join in, and after that we will continue. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends, and also best wishes from my side for your upcoming UPSC prelims 2021. Work hard, stay positive, everything will fall in line. Anyway, in the meantime, before more learners join in, there is one good news for all of you who are preparing for the UPSC, that the Unacademy platform is giving you a special or mega discount. But that good news will end from August 1, because unfortunately there is a price hike from August 1 onward. So another 3 more days to go. The good news is another 3 more days to go. So you can subscribe. For GS and optional, the prices are this. For iconic GS and optional, the prices are this. In order to avail this, you can do from the link which is given below, if it is visible to you. I am circling it by red color, this one. Okay, subscribe today itself. It is such a huge offer. One subscription to crack UPSC civil service examination. There is a limited offer. Quickly, the pages worth are 1.25 lakh. Mains test series worth 30,000. Prelims test series worth 15,000. Books, you will also get books worth around 10,000 rupees. Optional pages with test series worth 50,000. So all total comes to around 2.3 lakh. But the Unacademy platform is giving you, if you are going for this one subscription, a huge discount. A huge discount. You can just calculate. It is available only by 57,000.5. Okay, so it's a huge offer. You can avail it now itself by subscription to Unacademy platform. As I always used to tell, there are 2 ways of preparing. One is just to read the standard books and the material endlessly, I can say endlessly. And during the process of the reading, whosoever will read will enjoy. But you won't know at what state of preparation you are unless and until you go and assess yourself. And to assess oneself, what is better than a test series? So in order to really know oneself at what stage you are in your preparation for the exam, it is always important to have a self assessment, and that will happen only through test series. So I highly recommend, don't wait for finishing the syllabus first and after that going for test series. No, that is not the right approach. Test series and reading should go hand in hand, so that you will recognize in which area you need further improvement. Okay, so I highly recommend to take this test series. 80 test series every year is more than sufficient. That includes prelims as well as mains. Okay, and it is curated by top educator of India, which is there in the platform. Also, it will be analyzed by top educator, and it is curated as per the changing UPSC pattern. Mind you, UPSC is a very dynamic exam. Okay, so contemporary issues and its dynamic nature, we have to adapt with such kind of changes. So all these test series will incorporate such kind of changes that is happening in UPSC pattern, and you will be able to compete with the best in India. Okay, it has started from 4 July onward, but still you are not late. You can always join in. I always used to say financial factor or financial angle should not be the determining factor for any serious aspirant who wants to be the cream of this country or the administrator of this country. Taking this very seriously, the Unacademy platform has come up with a loan for UPSC aspirant. And the best thing about this is it has got zero processing fee, zero interest rate, approval in a lightning second. Approval is only 2 hours. No hidden charges, minimum paperwork, so on. And that you can avail from this. Going further, every Sunday at 11 a.m., Unacademy comes up with a scholarship test. Okay, compact scholarship test. And you will get a reward, scholarship, worth this much. So don't miss it. It is available not only in English but also English and Hindi both, so that no one is left behind. The ultimate motto of Unacademy platform. Okay, if you need a code, I will give you my code. You can use my code SUNEP10. This is my code. You can use this every Sunday at 11 a.m. Okay, compact scholarship test. Anyways, I hope you do the smart work by selecting whatever the option is good for you. But anyway, as the heading of the session, geography and environmental related current affairs, the target is especially 2021 prelims exam. Now, just in the recent past, in fact only 2-3 days back, very unfortunate event has unfolded in the northeast part of India, that is between Assam and Mizoram. There was some border dispute between these two states, and finally resulted in dying of 5 Assam police personnel. And actually this becomes a very important issue because it is a firing between 2 state police of the same country. Okay, 2 states under the same country, confrontation by firing is a very serious matter. If not controlled at the right time, it will flare up into a very serious internal security matter. And also, given the volatility of this nature, if you can follow my pointer, the volatility of this nature, because Arunachal also shares a border with China as well as Myanmar, Nagaland also shares border with Myanmar, Manipur, Mizoram, and also here on this side we have Bangladesh. Okay, so the matter becomes very serious. Despite the coming and meeting by our Honorable Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, in the Northeast, he was there last week, some few days back only, met both the Chief Minister of Assam and Mizoram also, and the Chief Minister of Assam and Mizoram also had a one-to-one meeting, but such unfortunate thing happened. As far as geography is concerned, there are certain locations which we need to know. That is the entire point of bringing this particular topic here today. Now, in the previous year question paper, you will find that there are places across the world, also in India, that UPSC keeps on asking many questions regarding locational based question. They are known as locational based question. They will give 2-3 countries, or they will give 2-3 states or cities, so on and so forth. They will ask you whether it is to arrange them from east to west or from north to south or in any other permutation and combination. Okay, so since we cannot remember all the locations or all the places in the world, what is the trick? The trick is to identify places which are in the news. And this, as far as India is concerned, this is how you prepare the locational based question for UPSC prelims. Means in the recent past, just 2-3 days back, this location is in the news. So it is quite likely if there is any locational based question, it may come from this area also. There is a very high chances. Okay, so let us quickly go and see some important places in this region. If you follow my pointer, this is Assam. All this is Assam. So Assam has a boundary with Meghalaya. It has a boundary with Tripura. This is Tripura. It has a boundary with Mizoram. It has a boundary with Manipur. It has a boundary with Nagaland. And if you go up, it has a boundary with Arunachal also. And if you come like this, okay, so that is another important area. Like with how many states that the state of Assam shares a boundary. Now you are very clear about that. Now quickly going into this, there is a place known as Karimganj, that is in Assam. This is a nearby this region you will have Silchar, and this is a Jajar region. Now here in this place Karimganj is sharing a boundary with Mizoram. The name of the place, the region in Mizoram is Mamit. So just some few days back, there was also some kind of confrontation happened between the state of Assam and Mizoram in this region. So it is very important that you know Karimganj and Mamit. Remember this. The recent development which happened resulting in the killing of 5 Assam personnel was in this region. In the Assam side, it was Lailapur. In the Mizoram side, it was Kolasip. Okay, so those two are very important region which is there in the news. There are also other region which share border between Assam and Mizoram. So this region is very important. So you have known the place now. These are important places that you need to keep in mind. Okay, as far as this prelims is concerned. Also another important aspect is Assam is not only having a border dispute with Mizoram. It is also having a border dispute presently now. It is also having a border dispute with Meghalaya. It is also having a very tense situation in the Nagaland and Assam boundary. Okay, so since we are not studying we are studying from the geographical point of view, we will be dealing with only geographical aspect. But still then, in order to understand this from your GS perspective, all these states during the colonial period were just a district. Mizoram was also a district by the name of Lushai Hills. Even Nagaland were part of this Assam as such. Okay, and the statehood also after the independence of India, the statehood of Nagaland got in 1963. Similarly, other smaller other states in the northeast also got statehood gradually. Okay, after the independence of India. So in order to understand this, you need to go a little bit in colonial colonial time period. The dispute, just to give you a perspective, stems from a notification in 1875 that differentiated the Lushai Hills. Mizoram was known as Lushai Hills from the plains of Jachar. Another kind happened in 1933 that demarcates a boundary between the Lushai Hills and Manipur Hills. Okay, but as far as the geography is concerned, you need to know some important. Here, if you follow the pointer, here you will find Berian Hills. Mikir Hills will be somewhere here. Here will be a river by the name of Barak River. Okay, so all those geographical aspects you need to know from this region, because this region is there in the news in the recent past or just now. Okay, so that is how you study the locational questions for this exam. Going further, till now in India we have we have a project like Project Tiger or Project Elephant. Now, our Honorable Prime Minister in the August 15 last year from the Red Fort announced that India will have a similar project like Project Tiger or Project Elephant in the name of Project Lion and Project Dolphin. Dolphin, both marine and fresh water. This kind of project will not only conserve the biodiversity but also at the same time create employment and also tourism. Okay, now the importance of these projects are, after the coming of Project Tiger, the population of tiger has increased, because there are certain factors that comes along with declaring such animal as a given a separate project. Say for example, there will be a separate cell, as in administrative cell, under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay, with a which are dedicated exclusively for the conservation of, if it is a Project Tiger, there will be a separate cell for Project Lion, and dedicated exclusive for their conservation will be done from that cell. Similar to the Project Tiger or Project Elephant, which has such kind of separate administrative unit or cell under MOEFF. It also means that they will get earmarked budget for their conservation, which means the funds will be available and also dedicated, targeted approach will be there for their conservation. Now, let us see why such kind of importance, or what importance is associated with such kind of declaration of a project as Project Lion and Project Dolphin in the line of Project Tiger and Project Elephant. See, Project Lion, some of the reason for declaring it as a project, special dedicated project, is Gir Lion landscape in Gujarat, that is there in Gujarat, Saurashtra district. It is the only wild habitat in the world. Okay, for Asiatic tiger, also known as the Gir lion, also known as the Asiatic lion, the only wild habitat in the world is this, in the Gir forest, that is in Gujarat. Their population is decreasing because of n number of reasons, but in the recent past, one of the most important event which happened was in 2008. A disease known by the name of canine distemper virus killed something around 26 lions. Okay, the population is declining, but still the population is already declining at a very fast rate. But in 2018, because of this virus, again 26 of them has been died. Now, in order to address such kind of issues or challenges in the conservation of the only wild habitat in the world for the Asiatic lion, this particular Project Lion came into being. Some of the area that this Project Lion will address is to manage the growing lion population. Okay, management of that. Number second is to ensure that the local communities, that is people of Saurashtra and of India at large, are the main stakeholders and benefited by the project. To secure and manage lion habitat and mitigate human-lion conflict. And also to avert any risk of extinction. Why? Because it is found that Asiatic lions have low genetic diversity. Okay, MCQ, as far as MCQ is concerned, this is a very important point. Asiatic, because all the animals or plant, they don't have the same type of genetic diversity. Some are very low, some are very high. But as far as Asiatic lion is concerned, it has very low genetic diversity and are at risk due to it. And also, as you know, their habitat is also confined to a very small space as compared to the requirement of a lion, the area requirement by a lion, and the availability of the space itself is very small. So in order to address all this issue, the project Lion came into being. Now, under the proposal, one important thing is, since the area is very small and also Gir forest is the only natural habitat, what the project Lion wants to do is to increase the area. And how to do that? Proposed site for creating additional ranges are, number one, very important from prelims angle, Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, remember this. Madhav National Park, remember this. Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, all these are there in Madhya Pradesh, MP. Okay, remember this. And also, if possible, because of the paucity of time, we won't be able to discuss each and every wildlife sanctuary or national park, but go and see Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, what they are famous for and what are the important species, or is there any endemic species, and by introduction of such a lion in this kind of sanctuary or national park, will there be any ecological issues? Okay, but the name of the proposed sites are Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, Madhav National Park, Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, that is in MP. Other sites are Sita Mata Wildlife Sanctuary, Mukandra Hills Tiger Reserve, Gumbalgarh, all these are in Rajasthan. Okay, Chesor Balaram Ambaji Wildlife Sanctuary and adjoining landscape, Batra Wildlife Sanctuary, they are there in Gujarat. This name is very important as far as your prelims exam is concerned. Okay, in your MCQ. See, out of the 30,000 square kilometer of Asiatic lion landscape, only 250 kilometer is the exclusive space for lions. So the space crunch or the space limitations for the proper development or conservation of the lion is one of the main issue. So in order to increase this space, and also in order to increase the genetic diversity, they wanted to diversify it to other regions also, and that is addressed by trying to introduce it into some other nearby places. Okay, and the space, when it comes regarding the space, there is always an animal and human conflict because of this space. Means the population is growing, the forest area is becoming less, and that threatens and that creates a challenge of animal and human conflict, not only in this but in many parts of the world. So in order to address that, proposed site arrangement or proposal for increasing the area becomes more important. When you study the Gir forest, you cannot leave the pastoral communities who are there. Okay, because any kind of development will be successful only if there is a holistic approach. In a sense, the people who are nearby there, you cannot just shut them, or you cannot just shun them, that you just go only with one agenda of protecting the lions. But you have to take along holistic approach. In a sense, you have to take along the animal as well as the human being and plan accordingly that no one is left behind. That's why there is a pastoral community in this region known by the name of Maltaris They are actually they rear buffalo and sell buffalo milk. They live in a settlement known by the name of NESS, N-E-S-S. As far as your prelims is concerned, these are very, very important. Okay, they may ask you regarding the tribe or the community that occupies near the Gir forest, and also their living settlement is known as NESS, N-E-S-S. Okay, Project Dolphin. Quickly, let us go into this. See, Ganges dolphin is the indicator of healthy river and is an umbrella species of river ecosystem. As the Gangetic dolphin is at the top of food chain, protecting the species and its habitat will ensure conservation of aquatic lives of the river. You all know what is food chain and food web. Now in food chain and food web, say for example, I will just give you one example. If you can follow the pointer, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a very simple food chain. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, all are equally important. It is not like one is more important than the other. The nature does not work in that way. All are equally important. And this food chain or food web can be complicated. In a sense, I can draw like this. I can bring it here like this. So any type of arrangement can be possible. Now in any food chain, say for example, the top in the food chain, say for example in this case the Ganges dolphin is destroyed or is absent. What will happen? Just below this, in the food chain, just below the top one, the organism or the plant or the animal which is there will explode in its population. When it explodes, it will have a determining factor running down right down to the lowest level in the food chain. Means if anything happens in any part of the food chain, entire food chain or the entire food web will collapse. When that collapse will take place, it will have a determining environmental disaster. Okay, and it will affect many other related like biogeochemical cycles. Okay, nutrient cycles. There are many cycles that you will find in the ecosystem. So everything will collapse one by one. So conservation of food chain, food web is very important. And how to conserve this food chain and food web? These are possible by conserving the animals. Okay, so Ganges dolphin also we will see the importance of why such kind of project has been dedicated for a conservation of this dolphin. But before going into that, let us see some important characteristics of this dolphin. Okay, one is calf, that is the baby or baby dolphin. They are chocolate brown at birth. Since we are targeting the UPSC prelims, it is important. Okay, these characteristics are important. They are chocolate brown at birth, but when they become adult, they become grayish brown. Okay, you see, another important point is you cannot remember characteristics, color or their skin tone of each and every animal in the world. So one of the way how to know is whatever important animals that comes or figures in the newspaper or in the current affairs, you need to go and read a little bit about that. You don't have to remember exactly what it is, but in exam, in MCQ, when the options are given, it will just strike you back. Okay, anyways, going ahead, the species does not have a crystalline eye lens. Means dolphins are usually considered it as a effectively blind. They hunt by emitting ultrasonic sounds which bounces off a fish and other prey, enabling them to see an image in their mind. Okay, so dolphin is effectively blind, but they are hunted by ultrasonic sound which are reflected back or bounces back from the fish and other prey. Okay, they are frequently found alone or in small groups, and generally a mother and calf travels together. Females are larger. Another important point, dolphin females are larger than males and give birth once every 2 to 3 years to only one calf. Okay, in your MCQ, again I'm telling again and again, there will be options of this kind of a sort, like males are larger than females, okay, like that. But the females in dolphin community or in dolphin kingdom, females are always larger than the males. There is currently around 40% range reduction, okay, from the historical distribution. Earlier, what happens, a Ganges is flowing like this, river Ganga, Brahmaputra is flowing like this, Indus is flowing in this direction. Now, right from the Bay of Bengal, from the Daltaik region, if you travel up towards the Himalaya, to a very far extent, you find dolphin in all the places. All the places you find dolphin. But these days what happened? The dolphin is confined to a very small region. In a sense, they are currently around 40% range reduction, okay, from their historical distribution. Historical distribution means in the past where they were seen or where they were able to go has been reduced drastically. And that is because habitat loss, habitat degradation, reduction in flow, pollution, poaching, and net entanglement. You know, you see, dolphin also require fish as their source of food. Animals, human being also go for fishing. So what will happen? Where there is fish, dolphin is also wants to prey on this. Human beings also go for fishing. So sometimes, not sometimes, in most of the case, it so happens that the net entanglement happens. Okay, river navigations, unsustainable fishery practices are some of the factors for the reduction or loss of habitat. In fact, the species has gone locally extinct in many parts of Yamuna, Ken, Betwa, Parak River, and the Indian Sundarban itself. Okay. Previous efforts for the conservation of dolphin were Wildlife Act protection. Okay, after the launch of Ganga Action Plan in 1985, the government on 20 included Gangetic dolphin as the first scheduled wildlife. Okay, conservation plan, that is river dolphin to 2010 to 2020. Okay. National Aquatic Animal from October 5, 2009. So these are the previous effort for the conservation of dolphin. Okay, so now Project Dolphin and Project Lion, these are new addition in the conservation of animal announced only last year, and there is an increase in budgetary allocation also. So any question in your prelims as well as in your mains, it is expected. Okay. Now, India's first national climatic assessment, it was conducted, and this is important. This topic is important because it is the first time that the Indian government has conducted such a exercise. Okay. And that is to have a national climate assessment, and the name of the report is Assessment of Climate Change over the Indian region. It was released last year. And also another important point is, you all will know this, Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change, IPCC. Now IPCC this year, it will come up with the 6th edition of assessment report, they say. Now this particular report, Assessment of Climate Change over the Indian region, will be included in this 6th edition of Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, 6th assessment report. Now inclusion of this will give the nuances of the climate change in the Indian subcontinent and how it is affecting the climate change of the entire world. Now it is prepared by the Ministry of Earth Science. It is prepared by the Ministry of Earth Science. It is important regarding who prepared this report. The first one is, what is the name of the report? The name of the report is Assessment of Climate Change over the Indian Region. The second point is who prepared this? It is prepared by the Ministry of Earth Sciences along with the Center for Climate Change Research at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, which is there in Pune. Okay, so keep this in mind. Remember the name of this report. Important findings. There are some important findings of this report, and that is shorter and wetter monsoon. Okay, let us see what this means. In their findings, one of the important thing was, see, from 1901 to 2018, the country's surface air temperature increased by 0.7 degrees centigrade. As you know, that globally, the mean global temperature we are trying to contain below 2 degrees centigrade by the year 2100. Okay, but see, from 1901 to 2018, the country's surface air temperature was increased by 0.7 degrees centigrade. This figure is important. It is good if you can remember. The projected one is between 2.4 to 4.4 degrees centigrade. This is quite high. And if the business as usual continues, it may overshoot this also. So we need to have some drastic steps in order to bring down below the projected increase in the mean surface air temperature. Okay, the annual summer monsoon rainfall has declined by 6% from 1951 to 2015, but localized heavy rain even has increased. Okay, these are the findings. See, 1. Overall Indian summer monsoon has declined, but localized heavy rains even have increased. Its implication is, since more rains come across fewer days along with more dry days, what it will lead to? It will lead to drought. Because of this reason, there are many regions in the peninsular India as well as in the Gangetic plain. Earlier, they never experienced any kind of drought, but the experience of such kind of drought is increasing year after year. And also, since there is a more rain in a very shorter span of time period, what will happen? More rain in short time span. Number one, it will lead to flooding. There are many reasons of flooding in the urban region, but even the rainfall, intensity of rainfall is one of the factor. Number second is, if there is more rain over a very short period of time, it is not good for agriculture also, or for vegetation. And such kind of rain will cause, in hilly region especially, landslide and many other activity will be triggered. Okay, so the consequences of declining in monsoon but localized heavy rain even is this: drought will increase and flooding will also increase at the same time. Okay, so there is kind of a paradox. A drought is also happening, but at the same time flooding is also happening. One is less of rainfall, one is because of more of rainfall, and that is all because of the climate change, you can say, because of the increase in the temperature. The second important finding is the heating of the Himalaya. See, the annual mean surface air temperature in HKH, which means Hindu Kush and Himalayan region, which is the largest area of permanent eye cover outside the north and south poles, increased at a rate of about 0.1 degree per decade from 1901 to 2014, with a faster rate of warming about 0.2 degrees centigrade per decade. Okay, this figure you keep in mind. Several areas of this HKH have exhibited declining trend in snowfall and retreating glacier and increased wintertime precipitation. Warming of HKH region in the range of this much by the end of 21st century means it is a projected one. What is the consequences of this? The Hindu Kush Himalayan region is also known as the third pole. The reason being it contains the largest reserve of fresh water outside the north and south pole. The meltwater generated from the Himalayan glacier supplies the rivers and streams of region including the Indus, Ganges and Brahmaputra river system of India. Now, when there is a melting of the glacier in this Hindu Kush and Himalayan region, what will happen? More water will flow out now, but after some time, to replenish this for a continuous flow of water in these rivers will be destroyed. So the source will be less. So less water will come. That's why. And one of the alarming factor is in winter precipitation is also taking place in this region. And all that is because of heating that is taking place in the Himalayan region. So you see, increase at a rate of around 0.1 degrees centigrade per decade from 1901 to 2014. Okay, with a faster rate of warming around 0.2 per decade if we take the time period from 1951 to 2014, which means there is a continuous increase in the heating of the Himalaya. And the consequences of heating of the Himalaya we cannot even imagine, because if the source of the river fresh water is disrupted, it is going to affect everything, right from agriculture, human settlement, and it may even create dispute between different countries, so on and so forth. So it is a very alarming situation. Another important observation from the report is rising and warming oceans. See, the global mean sea level has risen by 1.7 millimeter per year. Okay, we are going to see this and correlate with the increase in the temperature of the sea surface temperature. So the sea level has increased by 1.7 per year. These figures are important. Mind you, I am reminding you again, because these are a very important figures which is very recent in the news. And the rate accelerated to 3.3 per year since 1993. Sea level may rise. These are the projected one, considering both steric as well as Antarctic ice sheet dynamics. What is steric changes? Steric changes refers to the changes in global sea level due to thermal expansion and salinity variation. When you heat something or when you heat water, what will happen? It will expand. When you cool down, when you cool water, it will contract. So because of the increase in sea surface temperature, the water expands. Okay, and that is how the sea level rises, because of the increase in the sea surface temperature because of global warming. Such kind of change in the sea level is known as steric change. Another changes is the ice sheet dynamics. And this ice sheet dynamics, very important from your exam perspective. Okay, describes the motion within large bodies dominated by the movement of glacier, whose gravity driven activity is controlled by two main factors, and they are the temperature. Okay, so if there is a high temperature, the movement will be triggered, and that is how the rise in sea level is also affected. The Indian Ocean has seen levels rise non-uniformly but at a rate of 1.06 to 1.75 millimeter per year till 2014, but you see this, it has rapidly increased to 3.3 in recent decades. The tropical Indian Ocean have experienced rapid basin-wide sea surface temperature warming with an average rise of 1 degree to 1 degree centigrade. Okay, 0.15 degree centigrade is decade. over which period the global sea surface increased by this much. Consequences are, see, the increase in sea surface temperature or sea surface temperature warming has very likely contributed to decreasing trend observed in ocean, in oxygen concentration in the tropical Indian Ocean, and the declining trend in pH means the acidity level, and marine phytoplankton over the western Indian Ocean. Means rise in the sea surface temperature decreases the content of the oxygen. Okay, and reduction in the oxygen content in the water body has a multiple adverse effect on many other areas. Okay, we will see that in a very short while. See here, if you can see this. Yes, see what happened is, when there is an increase in the temperature of water body, oxygen solubility will be reduced. Okay, when there is a higher temperature on the surface of the water, oxygen solubility will be reduced. Means less oxygen can be contained by this water. Now, when less oxygen is available on the surface, less oxygen can be transferred below, okay, to replenish the oxygen below. So since there is non-availability of oxygen on the surface, there will be less oxygen to supply below. So gradually an area will develop oxygen minimum zone, and it will expand. Now, when there is no oxygen or low oxygen, what will happen? The organisms which survives or depends on the supply of oxygen from above will destroy. So gradually it will affect food chain and food web. In fact, the marine food chain and food web. Okay, so that is one. Another is because of the supply of rich nutrient in the form of potassium, nitrogen, so on and so forth, because of human activity from industrial waste, so on and so forth, or basically you can say the general change in land use, means from agriculture, the fertilizers that we use, so on and so forth. There are many factors that are involved. Nutrient will be provided or supplied to the water body, and because of the increase in nutrient, the organisms will increase or thrive. Algae bloom, or we call it as a eutrophication, and after some time it will collapse, it will die down. And also when there is a algae bloom, it will also extract maximum amount of oxygen which is present here, but the presence of oxygen itself is getting lowered. So what will do? The deficiency of oxygen on the top layer will be drastically reduced, and if such a condition is continued, there will be a complete collapse in this water body, means collapse of the food chain and food web. So, which means this is the direct correlation of the deficiency in oxygen vis-a-vis the collapse of the ecosystem in the water body. And this reduction in the oxygen in the water body is directly attributed to the global warming, because when there is a increase in sea surface temperature, the water is not able to hold more oxygen. Okay, so coming back, the rate of warming in tropical Indian Ocean is fastest among the tropical ocean and account for about 1/4 of increase in global heat content over the last 2 decades, despite being the smallest of the tropical ocean, representing only around 13% of the global ocean surface. So that is the importance of warming of the tropical Indian Ocean. Okay, so there is a substantial increase compared to the volume or compared to the area that is covered by the Indian Ocean. The rise in temperature and contributing to the rise in temperature by the Indian Ocean, tropical Indian Ocean region is very large. Okay, Consequences being, because of such kind of very high increase in temperature, especially in the tropical Indian Ocean, there is a basic one, some of the basic conditions for the formation of cyclone is the temperature should be high enough. In fact, the specific temperature we can say 27 degrees centigrade and above. Okay, the sea surface temperature for the formation of cyclone should be 27 degrees centigrade and above. And also supply of sufficient amount of heat. When there is a sufficient amount of heat, what will happen? When there is a sufficient amount of heat, or means the high temperature, what it means? Supply of moisture. And all this supply of sufficient amount of heat, moisture, and also high temperature, these are the basic conditions for the formation of cyclone. Now, with the increase or the warming of the tropical Indian Ocean, these conditions are satisfied. Because of this, there is a recorded increase of cyclonic activity, 49% increase in severe tropical cyclone between 1951 to 2018 in the Bay of Bengal region. And quite another important factor is in the Arabian Sea, which has seen an increase of 52% in such cyclone activity. And all this is because of the increase in the global mean temperature, especially in the tropical Indian Ocean region. The oxygen content of ocean has declined because of the increase in temperature, sea surface temperature. The oxygen declined by around 2%. This is a very high number, okay? In the middle of 20th century, while the volume of ocean water completely depleted of oxygen has been quadrupled, okay, since 1960s. The ocean oxygen level are expected to fall by around 2 to 4% by 2010. These are the projected one. Overall, due to climate change and increase in nutrient discharge through the scale of effects seen very regionally. Okay. Consequences being, as you know, the decrease in biodiversity, marine biodiversity, shifts in species distribution, displacement or reduction in fishery resources. Okay. There is one important term, that is as anoxic ocean water. This means areas completely depleted of oxygen, and it has been quadrupled since 1960s. Okay. Evidence suggests that temperature increase explain about 50% of oxygen loss in the upper 100 meter of the ocean. Okay, so that is all about the recent report which has been published by the Ministry of Earth Science along with the Center for Climate Change Research at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. Okay, if you want to read the report, you can go and read the report, but the report is very bulky and it is very time consuming. So for you, in short, whatever the gist or whatever required in that particular report, I have highlighted here. That is assessment of climate change over the Indian region. Okay, so that is all about that particular report, from where number of questions are expected. Now, we have seen and we have heard in the news many a times in the recent past. One of the solid example will be the heat wave in European countries and also in the Canada. There are many people who has become casualty because of heat related death in terms of hundreds has been reported from Canada this year alone. And also such kind of heat wave has become a norm rather than an exceptions. So now in India also, in different part, there are instances of heat wave. From exam perspective, knowing just heat wave means increase in temperature is not sufficient. We need to know some very definite definition of what is heat wave. So let us quickly go and see some of the important points regarding the heat wave. Okay, so heat wave is defined as a period of unusually hot weather that typically lasts for 2 or more days. To be considered a heat wave, the temperature has to be outside the historical average for a given area, which means suppose if you have one area, and in that area, because in any area on the earth surface the temperature varies. Okay, sometimes it goes up, down, that is seasonal. On the other hand, the peaks, say for example in 1 year the highest temperature will be 21, but who knows, after 5 years or 10 years it may go up to 25. But you know, there is a variation, there is no fix, but you consider it as a heat wave when a place experiences such kind of a high rise in temperature which is outside the historical average of any of this temperature which has already been recorded. That is the meaning of to have a outside the historical averages or for a given area. Okay, now quickly going, Indian Meteorological Department has given a definite criteria to be called as a heat wave. The rise in temperature of any place based on the rise in the temperature to be recognized or to be declared as a heat wave or not. So some of the important criteria are this: heat wave will not be considered till maximum temperature of station reaches at least 40 degrees centigrade for plains and at least 30 degree for hilly region. This means, say for example, I have one location in the plains, and if this temperature maximum temperature this place, suppose in this place if my temperature is at least 40 degrees centigrade, or in the hilly region the temperature should be 30 degrees centigrade, only then it will be declared as heat wave. Otherwise heat wave is not declared. See, heat wave need not be considered till maximum temperature of station reaches at least 40. If in plain the temperature of that place or the temperature that is experiencing in this plain is 40 or above, only then it can be declared as a heat wave as per Indian Meteorological Department. In the hilly region there is a difference of 10 degrees centigrade below. If a place is experiencing 30 degree or more, only then it can be called as a heat wave in hilly region. Okay, now let us see one by one. When the normal maximum temperature of a station is less than or equal to 40 degrees centigrade, which means I have one place, let us call it this place A. This place A has a normal, means the normal temperature, normal maximum temperature, or you can say the average temperature over a year after year different temperature is experiencing, so you take an average or the normal maximum temperature. Okay, the normal maximum temperature of a place is less or equal to, say for example, 40 degrees centigrade. This particular station or the location will declared as a heat wave when this particular region experiences 5 to 6 degrees centigrade increase from this particular normal maximum temperature, which means this particular location A, I'm sorry, you will not be able to see this, I'll come this side. Say for example, I have a location A, and this location, say for example, the normal maximum temperature is 40 degrees centigrade. Now if there is in this location, if there is an increase of 5 to 6 degrees centigrade in any given season or any given time, so this 40 plus 5 to 6 means 45 or 46 degrees centigrade. If this location undergoes such kind of an increase in temperature, it is declared as a heat wave. Severe heat wave will be increase of more than 7 degrees, means if this location has a temperature of 47 degrees centigrade or above, will be declared as heat wave. Okay, quickly, when normal maximum temperature of a station is more than 40 degrees, means I have a location A. If this particular location normal maximum temperature, okay, of this place is 40 degrees centigrade above, more than this, okay, the previous one which we have discussed is 40 or below, right, and this is more than 40, then if this particular place 40 and above, let us consider 42 degrees centigrade as its normal maximum temperature. And now when the increase in the temperature of this place is 4 to 5 degrees centigrade, then it is declared as heat wave region. And if this place undergoes an increase of temperature of 6 degrees centigrade or more, it is declared as severe heat wave. You kindly focus this figure. See, 4 to 5 degrees centigrade here. Here is 5 to 6 degrees centigrade. And here I have 7 degrees centigrade. I have here 6 degrees centigrade. Okay. And another point is, when actual maximum temperature remains 45 degrees centigrade or more, irrespective of normal maximum temperature, heat wave should be declared. Which means any place which is having temperature of 45 degrees centigrade or more, irrespective of normal maximum temperature or not, such place, which means any place which is experiencing 45 degrees centigrade and more, such place is declared as a heat wave region. Okay. Some of the important heat wave related health impacts are heat cramps. It usually happens in this range. This is the symptom: heat exhaustion and heat stroke when the temperature is between these two, and this will ultimately result in a potential fatal condition. Okay, because it will give rise to delirium and seizure or coma, this one. Okay, so all these are related to the heat wave. Anyway, dear friends, thank you so much for thank you so much for your patience. I'll take up some more classes like this in a couple of days. Will inform you. Good afternoon and thank you so much.